Welcome to another spectacular episode of Versus. I'm Melissa. I hope you guys are doing great today. We're going to be diving into an insanely popular book and an even more popular book series, Percy Jackson and the Olympians The Lightning Thief. It was written by Rick Riordan in 2005, and its movie adaptation by the same name, directed by Chris Columbus in 2010. I know there's a huge fan base for Percy Jackson. I know there's a huge fan base for Camp Half-Blood. And I just hope to do it justice today. And I hope that I kind of touch on some things that fans have just been in arms and been griping about all these years. The plot. So we're following a troubled Percy as he's being repeatedly kicked out of school. He's being raised by a single mom, and she has a not-so-nice boyfriend. He's actually not hands-on. He doesn't even care that Percy is there, really. And he's just a really terrible person. Percy one day goes on a field trip, and he's attacked by a teacher, Mrs. Dodds. He's then given a pen that, thankfully and miraculously, turns into a sword when he uncaps it. And that's when all the fun and the adventure really begin. The movie. We're following the trio of heroes as they go across the U.S. in search of 3 pearls that help them get out and escape the underworld. That's about 80% of what's going on in the movie, and realistically, that's about 2 pages of content in the book. So that tells you a lot already, that they're focusing on these just 2 pages, and they made it basically the entire plot of the movie, and already it's just really bad. The plot of the book is basically manipulated by an unknown character that we later find out to be Ares and a companion of his, Luke Castellan. And we find out that they're both under the influence of Titan Lord Kronos. Ares, which he's driving this book forward, doesn't even appear in the film, and he appears in one scene at the top of Mount Olympus. So there's that. And again, the plot of the book and the movie are just night and day, and it's a shame, to be honest. The setting and the imagery and the background for this book is Camp Half-Blood. It's an integral part in building and who Percy is, and him finding out who he is. The setting to the movie, they have the entryway to Camp Half-Blood as an archway, which never shows up in the book. I don't know what it is with just directors and movies needing portals to things and needing to see that. I think the beauty of it is the unknown. And the camp is in the forest, and Percy's living in a hut by the lake. It's just, no. In the book, there is no big archway to Camp Half-Blood. It's out on a big open field. I guess unbeknownst to everybody else that it's there. It's not in the forest. Again, it's in an open field. The forest is separate from the camp, and Percy does not live in a hut. He lives in an actual building in the camp, right? So the imagery's off, the plot is off. Tell us about the characters, Melissa. Okay, I'm gonna tell you about the characters, and the characters, guess what? They're off. So they're way off, to be honest. Percy Jackson is, in the book, he's a 12-year-old boy. He's exploring this newfound ability, all while dealing with the loss of his mom that happened way in the beginning of the book during a fight with a minotaur. He doesn't find out who his father is until a game of Capture the Flag, where he's attacked really bad. He's on the brink of death. He's in a creek and he gets healed completely, because that's the pivotal moment that we find out that when Percy's in water, he's gonna get healed because he is the son of Poseidon, Greek god of the seas. What just beautiful imagery that would have been for the movie. Just that turning point, right? But in the movie, Percy Jackson is 16 years old. And he's just a natural born hero. He's not stumbling through anything like he is in the book. And everybody already knows that his dad is Poseidon, and he just doesn't freak out about it like he does in the book, because he's a kid in the book and he's dealing with now learning that he's a demigod. That you would think would freak anybody out. But in the movie, he's just okay with it. Like, oh, your dad's Poseidon. And he's just like, cool, okay. No big deal. Annabeth becomes Percy's friend later on, towards the middle to the end of the book. She is in competition with Percy a little bit, and they kind of have this nice back and forth going on. She tells Percy about her family, gives him her backstory, and they never touch in that in the movie at all, aside from her looks, which are different because they always change those things. But I don't know, those things don't really matter to me unless it's a big character trait that this person needs to have, blue eyes or green eyes or whatever. That doesn't really matter, but they do change her characteristics, and they take some of the characteristics of Clarice and they kind of marry them with Annabeth for the movie. Clarice LaRue, she's the camp half-blood bully. She doesn't even show up in this movie at all whatsoever. She shows up in movie 2, Sea of Monsters. It's not that she's a huge role in this book, but she's the camp half-blood bully, right? Kid joining a camp, has a bully. I feel like that's just this course that needs to happen in order to really push Percy into becoming a hero and really fighting and showing that, I don't know, he wants to learn and he wants to do this, and they just eliminate that character completely. Crover, he's the third of this trio of heroes, and in the movie he's just heroic, and he's not a target for bullying at all, where in the book he's this scrawny kid, and he's a big target for bullies, which they have, Annabeth and Percy just also protect him throughout, right? Because he's defenseless, so to say. And in the movie, he's just this heroic guy because they're all heroic, because why not, right? The fights are a major focal point of Percy Jackson, this book, The Lightning Thief, and just the series. It's Greek gods, it's demigods, the fights are important, and here I feel like the fights, they sort of lack a little bit, and they change things that I feel don't really necessarily need to be changed. So in the movie, there's a fight with a minotaur. I told you that's at towards 25 way mark. In the book, he fights a minotaur, and it's big because it's the first time he's fighting something head on. He knows he has to fight this, as opposed to just being attacked, by Mrs. Dodds. He has to attack this, and it's a big point. In the book, it does happen in the movie as well. He fights Hydra at the Parthenon in Nashville, Tennessee, and he encounters the Fury, again, Mrs. Dodds, but he never encounters the other two Furies, Megaera and Tisiphone. He doesn't fight Chimera. There's no Cerberus, Echidna, or Procrustes. So, what are you guys leaving us with in terms of just action and fighting in a movie about gods and demigods? I just really don't understand. In the book, he fights the Minotaur, So that happens. He fights Ekna and her chimera at the top of the St. Louis Arch, which would have been an incredible imagery for a movie, by the way. You have this big landmark, you have Percy go up and unsuspectingly meet this thing at the top, right, and fight. There's a point where he falls down into the water below, and because he's in water, he's Poseidon, you think he's gonna drown, and he just doesn't, and it, beautiful imagery that could have been in the movie, and he didn't. The Three Furies, again, he doesn't. He meets those constantly. In the movie, he doesn't. He only meets Mrs. Dodds, which is Electo. He never meets Tisiphone and Megara. In the book, he encounters the three constantly. They're constantly attacking him. They're constantly accosting him on the bus, as he's walking, in restaurants, whatever. And we don't get to see that in the movie, and I don't understand why. Like, I think all of these little monster fights are driving forces to him to become this hero, instead of just, oh yeah, he's already, like, heroic in his own, like, right. That's dumb. He encounters Cerberus at the gates of the underworld. He doesn't fight Cerberus in the book, but he does encounter him, and again, it's just imagery. Like, who doesn't want to see a three-headed dog? Everybody. Which one is my favorite? I mean, if it's not obvious by now, the book. The book just paints beautiful story, beautiful imagery, and it really draws you in. It doesn't matter that the book is written for preteens and early teens. This book really just stands the test of time, and I feel like anybody can read it because it's just that entertaining. I didn't read it as a kid. I heard about it as a kid. I've never read it. I had definitely watched the movies before I read the book, and then I just read the book this year, and I freaking loved it. And then I revisited the movie in order to do that compare and contrast. The book, hands down, is better. The movie is lacking in so much. Again, they're night and day, and that's a shame. What's the upside to all of this is that Rick Riordan, the author of the Percy Jackson series, is helping out and is involved with Disney Plus in creating a new television series. Hopefully this goes great. I feel like it could be. It's supposed to be a season per book, and a season per book, which maybe is going to be an hour episode. It's big. You get to really develop this character and really develop the story, rather than trying to condense something so big into 2-hour movie. So I hope that it really just works out. We're probably not going to see anything for the next 2 years. They're still, like, in casting mode, but I hope that it really does well, and I hope that Rick really listens to the fans and really gives them what they want, which is to see their favorite series, or one of their favorite series, just on the screen and turned into something great, and not something that was unfortunately lackluster. So there's my verses for Percy Jackson and the Olympians The Lightning Thief. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave it in the comments down below. Tell me if you've ever read the book. Tell me if you watched the movie. Tell me which one you like better. Tell me if you're looking forward to this new television series that is being adapted for Disney Plus. Tell me all of it. Let me know in the comments. Interact with me. Let me know what you would like to see in the future. And I'll see if I can get to it and see if I can do a versus on it, or even do maybe a book review or a movie review or television review. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Flix, Food, and Flipping Pages. I'm going to link my profile down below. I'm also going to link my profile to Likewise. It's this great app that I've been using. I'm probably going to do a video in the future showing how to navigate and what's it all about, because I think more people need to be using the app. It's just a beautiful community of people, and you get recommendations on books, movies, TV shows, podcasts, restaurants. It's great. It's extensive. I'm gonna do a video on it so that you can see, and I'm gonna link my profile down below so that you make sure that you follow me and I'll follow you back. Thank you once again for being here with me. I enjoy talking to you guys every week. And remember, keep reading.